In a journey through life, we often encounter storms that test our resilience, our ability to stand firm in the face of adversity. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, provides a beacon of wisdom that guides us through these storms, illuminating 11 transformative lessons. These lessons not only rapidly changed my life, but also have the power to deeply alter the essence of those who practice them. First, the power of internal control. Oh, the magnificent power of internal control. You see, there's a timeless wisdom in this concept, a truth that crosses generations and remains relevant today. The philosopher Epictetus, with his insightful vision, once said something that resonates deeply in our lives. We are not affected by the circumstances around us, but by the way we interpret them. Just imagine the idea that it's not the events around us that shape our feelings, but the lens through which we view them. Fascinating, isn't it? This principle holds a golden key to inner peace. When we understand with an open heart that we are the sole masters of our thoughts and actions, something extraordinary happens. A path opens, a path towards tranquility, towards that serenity we all seek. The adversities, the turbulences that life insists on bringing, lose their power to destabilize us. Why? Because we learn to master the internal territory, that sacred space where our perceptions, emotions, and decisions reside. It's as if we were captains of our own ships, navigating through stormy seas. The waves may be high, the winds fierce, but the helm is in our hands. It is we who decide how to navigate these waters. And this metaphor, my friends, is the essence of internal control. No matter how turbulent the outside world may seem, the refuge, the safe harbor, is within us. But how do we achieve this state of command over ourselves? The answer lies in the constant practice of self-observation, in the cultivation of self-awareness. We need to exercise our ability to look inward daily, to question our automatic reactions, and to choose consciously our responses to life's challenges. It's a path that requires dedication, yes, but the fruits of this journey are priceless. By mastering our inner world, we open the doors to an existence marked by calm and balance. The life's storms, no matter how violent, cannot penetrate the fortress of serenity we've built within. This is the sublime power of internal control, a force that allows us to face the chaos of the world with a calm smile and the certainty that, in the end, we are unshakable. Second, active acceptance. And now, my dear listeners, let's dive into an equally fascinating and transformative concept: active acceptance. Imagine for a moment the figure of Marcus Aurelius, not just as the great emperor of Rome, but as a sage who, with his reflections, still teaches us the art of living today. Accept what life offers you and try to drink from each cup. Everything happens for a reason. Simple words, yet imbued with immense power. Here, my friends, we're not talking about a resigned acceptance, the posture of someone who simply lets themselves be carried away by the current without a reaction. Far from it. We are referring to a vigorous acceptance, a kind of warm embrace of fate. It's recognizing that although we cannot control all the events around us, we have the ability to choose how we relate to what happens to us. Think of it as dancing with life. Sometimes the music is slow and soft, at other times it's fast and frantic, but at all times we can choose how to dance. Active acceptance is understanding that every step, every movement brings with it an opportunity for learning, for growth, for transformation. And here, allow me to emphasize, this does not mean that we must like everything that happens to us. Some experiences are indeed painful and challenging. However, active acceptance encourages us to find meaning even in these difficulties, to see beyond the immediate pain, and to recognize that in some way, each experience contributes to our evolution. Marcus Aurelius invites us to drink from every cup that life offers us, with the awareness that everything, absolutely everything, has its reason for being. This is the power that lies in acceptance, the ability to embrace the flow of life, to flow with it, rather than against it. It's a reminder that, even in moments of storm, we can find peace if we choose to see the waves not as obstacles, but as part of the journey. So how about we practice this active acceptance in our lives? Let's together learn to welcome each moment with courage and optimism, understanding that every situation offers us a chance to be stronger, wiser, more complete. By doing so, we not only navigate the waters of existence more easily, but also transform our reality in a profound and positive way. Active acceptance is, in essence, a powerful form of freedom. Freedom to live fully, to extract the most from each experience, to grow continuously. And by embracing this stance towards life, we discover that even in the face of the uncertain, the unexpected, we are capable of finding serenity, purpose, and above all, an indomitable joy. Third, living in the present, the preciousness of living in the present. This lesson, so simple in its essence, is one of the pillars for a full and meaningful life. The Stoics, with their ancient wisdom, guide us along this path, whispering into the soul's ear, "Do not torment yourself with what has been, nor anguish over what is not yet." The now, this moment that pulses and breathes, is your true stage for action. Imagine yourself as an artist, with the present being your stage, your canvas, your blank paper. It is here and now that you can create, express, live. Each present moment is a unique, unrepeatable opportunity to exercise our power, to shape our existence with the colors of action, choice, presence. This concept, while seemingly simple, carries a transformative force. How often do we find ourselves lost in mental labyrinths, wandering between memories of what has passed and anxieties about what is to come? These wanderings, though part of human nature, often distance us from the only reality we truly possess, the now. Focusing on the present moment is an exercise, a practice that requires dedication and awareness. But oh, how worthwhile it is. By anchoring our thoughts and actions in the now, we open up space for a richer, deeper life. The present becomes more colorful, more vibrant, filled with nuances and possibilities that otherwise we might overlook. And how can we cultivate this presence, this full living in the now? It starts with small steps. A conscious breath, a pause to really savor the food that nourishes us, a moment of gratitude for the sun that shines or the rain that falls. It's an invitation to slow down, to really listen when someone speaks, to feel the earth under our feet. By practicing the art of living in the present, we discover that many of the worries that consume us are like ghosts of the past or mirages of the future. We learn that here and now we have an incredible capacity for choice, for response, for creation. And it's this understanding that frees us, that allows us to experience life in its fullness, without the shackles of what was or the chains of what is not yet. If you've made it this far, I know you're truly focused. Leave a comment with the word "search for change" to let us know you're really focused on the goal. Fourth, virtue is the supreme good. And now, my dear friends, we arrive at one of the most beautiful and profound reflections that can guide our existence, the conviction that virtue is the supreme good. Oh, how Seneca's words resonate with celestial clarity. Virtue is sufficient for happiness. In an era where the ephemeral and the material often overshadow the essential, this maxim stands as a beacon, lighting the way to a truly rich and satisfying life. Living a virtuous life, my friends, is to choose a path paved with the noblest values we can aspire to. Wisdom, to navigate the complexities of life. Courage, to face the challenges that arise. Justice, to live in harmony with others, and moderation, to find the perfect balance in all our actions. These are not just admirable qualities, but the foundations upon which we can build a full and meaningful existence. But what does it mean, in practice, to put virtue above all? It means that in every decision, in every choice, we ask ourselves, is this aligned with the best of who I am and who I wish to be? Am I acting with integrity, honoring not just my desires, but also the greater good? By asking these questions, by living these answers, we discover that true happiness is not a matter of accumulating material goods or seeking fleeting pleasures. It is, rather, a matter of cultivating our best selves, of living according to elevated principles that give true meaning to our journey. The pursuit of virtue is an invitation to continual reflection on our actions and intentions. It's a process of self-discovery and transformation that challenges us to look inward, to question our own limits, and to transcend what we believed was possible. And the most beautiful part of all this is that as we pursue virtue, as we strive to be better people every day, happiness becomes a constant companion, not as a goal to be achieved, but as a natural consequence of a life well lived. My dear listeners, the message the Stoics left us is clear and powerful. At the core of a truly rewarding life are not external achievements, but the internal cultivation of virtue. And this is a journey all of us can embark on, no matter where we are or what we possess. True wealth, lasting happiness, lies in the quality of our hearts and minds. So I invite each one of you to reflect on this powerful truth. May we all strive to live more virtuously, guided by wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. By doing so, we not only enrich our own lives, but also contribute to a more harmonious and fulfilling world. And remember, in the cultivation of virtue, we find not only the key to personal happiness, but also the secret to a more just, balanced, and truly human society. Fifth, perspective on adversities. We dive into the immortal wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, a brilliant mind who left us precious teachings on the art of living. His perspective on adversities is a true treasure trove of knowledge. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. In this powerful saying, we find the key to transforming our hardest battles into steps for growth and strengthening. Let's think about this together. How often do we encounter challenges or adverse situations that at first glance seem insurmountable or unfair? Life, in its infinite variety, has the habit of casting storms of varying intensities upon us. However, the message Marcus Aurelius conveys is an invitation to see these storms in a different light. By adopting the stance that we are not victims of circumstances, but rather architects of our own experience, something extraordinary happens. Adversities, far from being mere obstacles, reveal themselves as disguised opportunities. Opportunities to learn, to grow, to become more resilient versions of ourselves. Imagine for a moment that each difficulty we face is a question life asks us, testing our wisdom, our courage, our ability to persevere. And what if, instead of lamenting in the face of these questions, we viewed them as chances to prove to ourselves what we are capable of? This is where the beauty of the Stoic perspective on adversities lies, in the understanding that everything we face can indeed strengthen us if we choose to see it that way. This mindset not only enables us to deal with challenges more effectively, but also allows us to extract value from each experience, no matter how difficult it may be. Instead of being worn down by life's storms, we can use them to further anchor our roots, to become more robust, more adaptable, more wise. Therefore, my dear listeners, I invite you to embrace this transformative perspective. Let us learn together to see adversities not as signs that we are being punished or harmed, but as invitations for growth and enhancement. By making this conscious choice, we not only overcome the challenges that come our way, but also emerge from each battle stronger, more complete, more alive. Remember, life is a constant flow of challenges and achievements, and it is in how we respond to each of these moments that the true meaning of our journey lies. With the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius as our guide, we can transform each adversity into a step toward achieving a richer, fuller, more virtuous existence. And so, my friends, we move forward, strengthened, inspired, and always growing. Sixth, self-sufficiency. And now we advance to a concept that is both a pillar and a supreme goal in the journey of self-discovery and self-realization. Self-sufficiency. Epictetus, with his unmatched clarity and depth, offers us a compass for this exploration. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. What a powerful statement. It encapsulates a profound truth about human nature and the path to true freedom. Self-sufficiency, my friends, is not about a cold and isolated independence, but about a full understanding and acceptance of who we are, what we have, and what we can be. It's the ability to find within oneself the sources of satisfaction, happiness, and peace, without overly depending on external circumstances or the approval and recognition of others. Think of the freedom that this self-sufficiency brings, a freedom from being constantly at the mercy of the whims, opinions, and actions of others, a freedom that comes from confidence in our own ability to face life, to adapt, to create for ourselves a sense of purpose and direction. This path to self-sufficiency is a journey towards self-knowledge. It's a process of discovery, where we learn to listen to our own needs, desires, and dreams instead of getting lost in the noise of the world. It's learning to be our own safe harbor, our own source of strength and wisdom. And this, my dear friends, is an art form, a skill we cultivate day after day. But how can we progress on this journey? It starts with small actions, learning to enjoy our own company, exploring our interests and passions, practicing gratitude for what we have, and developing a growth mindset that allows us to see challenges as opportunities to learn and evolve. As we become more self-sufficient, we discover that true freedom is not about having everything we want, but about not needing more than we have. It's finding joy and contentment within ourselves, knowing that whatever happens, we have the internal resources to face and thrive. Seventh, simplicity. Simplicity. This principle, so elegant in its essence, is a true balm for souls weary of the excess and incessant complication that often permeates our existence. Seneca, one of the great masters of Stoic thought, offers us a pearl of wisdom that resonates with striking clarity. Be content with little, and you will find tranquility. How refreshing these words are. They invite us to reconsider our priorities, to reevaluate what we truly value, and to rediscover the beauty contained in simplicity. Living a simple life does not mean denying oneself the joy of life's pleasures or living in an austere, colorless manner. On the contrary, it's about making a conscious choice to uncomplicate, to free ourselves from the shackles of material excess and the relentless pursuit of more, and more. It's an invitation to return to the basics, to value what is essential, lasting, and truly enriching. By embracing simplicity, we discover an incredible freedom. Free from the weight of unnecessary possessions, exhaustive comparisons, and unrealistic expectations, we find space to breathe, to be, to experience life with a renewed sense of gratitude and appreciation. Simplicity teaches us to find contentment in what we have, to celebrate the small pleasures, and to cultivate more authentic and meaningful relationships. And how can we take the first steps towards this simpler life? Start by evaluating your relationship with material goods, questioning what you truly need to be happy. Practice gratitude daily, recognizing and valuing the blessings present in your life. Simplify your routines, creating space for what truly matters. And perhaps most importantly, learn to say no to demands and offers that do not align with your core values. By adopting a simpler stance towards life, we realize that tranquility and happiness are not anchored in accumulation, but in a deep appreciation for what is genuine and satisfying. This is the transformative power of simplicity. It frees us to live more fully, more mindfully, and definitely more happily. So my listeners, how about we embark together on this journey in search of simplicity? By making this choice, we not only lighten the load on our shoulders, but also open our hearts to a more serene, balanced, and truly enriching existence. And remember, at the heart of simplicity, we find the key to a life of peace, contentment, and unparalleled beauty. If you're enjoying it, don't miss out on the opportunity. Get the ebook now, Stoicism in the 21st Century, Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges, and unlock your prosperity, abundance, and improve your relationships with this ebook. Link in the pinned comment. 8th, Nature as Guide. We've reached a principle that ties all the previous points together, weaving them into a cohesive and harmonious fabric, the vital importance of living in harmony with nature. Marcus Aurelius, in his infinite wisdom, gifts us with a reflection that is both advice and revelation. Happiness is attained when our actions are in harmony with nature. This phrase encapsulates a profound truth about the essence of peace and contentment. Living in harmony with nature means more than simply appreciating the beauty of a sunset or the soothing sound of a river. It's about recognizing that we are part of a larger whole, an intricate fabric of life that extends beyond our individual existence. It means respecting the cycles and rhythms of the natural world, aligning our lives with these eternal patterns that govern everything from the seasons to the ebb and flow of tides. When we adjust our lives to reflect the balance and order of nature, we discover an inexhaustible source of peace and well-being. Nature, with its innate wisdom, teaches us about renewal and resilience, about growth, and about the beauty contained in each moment. It shows us that true strength lies in flexibility, in the ability to adapt and thrive in the face of change. But how can we cultivate this harmony with nature in our daily lives? It starts with simple steps. Spending more time outdoors, observing and learning from natural patterns, reducing our environmental impact, and choosing life practices that promote sustainability and respect for all forms of life. It also means listening more closely to what our own bodies and minds tell us, respecting our internal rhythms, and taking care of ourselves as an integral part of the natural world. As we align ourselves with nature, our actions become more conscious and intentional, reflecting a deep respect for life in all its forms. We discover that happiness is not something we pursue, but something that naturally flourishes when we live authentically and aligned with the fundamental principles of the universe. Therefore, my dear listeners, I encourage each of you to seek this harmony with nature. In doing so, we will not only find lasting peace and a renewed sense of purpose, but also contribute to creating a more balanced, healthy, and vibrant world for future generations. Remember, in the simplicity and wisdom of nature, we find the keys to a truly fulfilling and happy life. 9th, empathy and community. And now we enter a dimension that further weaves the rich tapestry of the human experience, empathy and community. Marcus Aurelius, with the clarity and depth that characterize his thoughts, reminds us of a fundamental truth. We are made for cooperation. This simple statement resonates with immense power, for it reminds us of our intrinsic role in the great social fabric that comprises humanity. Empathy, the ability to feel and understand the emotions and experiences of others, is the glue that holds communities together. It allows us to transcend our own point of view, to put ourselves in the shoes of others, and thus to build bridges of understanding and solidarity. Living with empathy is recognizing the shared humanity that binds us together despite our differences. And then there's community, this comprehensive concept that goes far beyond geographical boundaries or blood ties. We are part of a global, interconnected community where the actions of one individual can have reverberations around the world. In this context, every act of kindness, every act of cooperation, every moment of mutual understanding strengthens the social fabric that surrounds us. Living with empathy and fostering a sense of community, therefore, means recognizing our responsibility towards one another. It means acting with compassion, offering support, celebrating others' achievements as if they were our own, and reaching out in times of need. It's understanding that together we are stronger, more capable of facing the challenges that arise, whether in our neighborhood or on a global scale. But how can we cultivate this empathy and sense of community in our lives? It starts with active listening, with genuine effort to understand the stories, pains, and hopes of those around us. It involves practicing kindness and generosity, not only with those we know, but also with strangers who cross our path. And perhaps most importantly, it requires the courage to act for the common good, to advocate for justice, and to work towards a more equitable and compassionate world. Therefore, my dear listeners, I invite you to reflect on how we can, individually and collectively, live more empathetically and engaged in our community. In doing so, we not only enrich our own lives, but also contribute to building a world where respect, understanding, and cooperation are the norm, not the exception. And remember, in empathy and community we find not only the essence of humanity, but also the path to a brighter and more hopeful future for all. 10th, reflection and self-examination. We've reached a principle that serves as the foundation upon which all others rest: reflection and self-examination. Socrates, with his unquestionable wisdom, challenges us with a task that is both simple and profoundly transformative. Examine your life. And it is in the teachings of this philosopher that we find one of the most valued practices by the Stoics. A practice that invites us to look inward, to question, to evaluate, and ultimately to grow. Self-examination is this powerful tool of introspection that allows us to conduct an internal audit, so to speak. It's a moment dedicated to reflecting on our actions, thoughts, and motivations, questioning not only the what and how, but primarily the why. Why do we act in a certain way? What are the true motivations behind our thoughts and actions? Are they aligned with the values and principles we aspire to live by? This daily practice of self-examination is not an exercise in harsh self-judgment or undue criticism, but rather an opportunity for self-discovery, a chance to learn from our experiences and make conscious adjustments in our behavior. It's an invitation to celebrate our successes and acknowledge our shortcomings, not as defeats, but as steps on the path of personal growth. But how can we effectively incorporate this practice of reflection and self-examination into our lives? It can start with something as simple as dedicating a few minutes at the end of each day to ponder on the experiences lived. What did I learn today? How can I improve? Which aspects of my conduct or thinking contributed to my well-being and that of others, and which ones could be improved? This exercise, when practiced regularly, transforms into a powerful habit of self-awareness and self-development. It equips us with the clarity and honesty necessary to make more conscious choices and to live more intentionally and aligned with our deepest values. And finally, the freedom of desire. And now, delving even deeper into the heart of Stoic philosophy, we encounter a powerful truth about the nature of freedom. It lies in our ability to free ourselves from unchecked desire. Epictetus, with his lucid and direct vision, offers us advice of inestimable value. If you desire something that is not within your control, you will become unhappy. This simple statement reveals a path to true inner peace and freedom. The relentless pursuit of more, whether it be more wealth, more status, more recognition, often leads us into a spiral of dissatisfaction and discontent. When our desires become fixated on things beyond our control, the opinions of others, external circumstances, material possessions, our happiness becomes at the mercy of the unpredictable, the fickle. The key to authentic freedom, then, lies in redirecting our focus. Instead of clinging to unattainable desires, we can seek contentment in what we have, in what is within our reach. This does not mean resignation or lack of ambition, but rather a reassessment of what we truly value, of what truly brings us satisfaction and peace. This liberation from unchecked desire invites us to cultivate a deep gratitude for the present, for aspects of our lives that we often take for granted. When we begin to appreciate what we have, rather than lamenting what we lack, we make room for a serenity that is not easily shaken by external storms. How can we then practice this freedom of desire in our daily lives? It begins with the practice of self-awareness, observing our desires and questioning their origin and validity. It's an exercise in discernment, distinguishing between desires that contribute to our growth and well-being and those that drag us down into dissatisfaction. Furthermore, the cultivation of gratitude is crucial. Taking a moment each day to reflect on the blessings in our lives, no matter how small, can transform our perception of the world. And finally, the practice of simplicity, as discussed earlier, helps us find joy in life's most fundamental aspects, reducing the constant need for more. Therefore, my dear listeners, I invite you to explore this freedom of desire. In doing so, we not only move closer to an existence marked by peace and contentment, but we also free ourselves from the invisible chains that so often restrain us. And remember, in the acceptance and appreciation of what we have, we discover not only the key to inner freedom, but also the path to a full and truly happy life. These lessons are not mere advice. They are the foundation for a full and meaningful existence. Incorporating them into our lives allows us to face storms with unwavering calmness and inner strength that withstands the waves of adversity. Stoicism teaches us to look inward, to find our power in the stillness of the mind and the strength of the spirit. Whether you are facing storms or sailing in calm waters, the lessons of Stoicism have the power to transform your life. They invite us to reflect, to grow, and above all to find serenity in accepting what we cannot control, cultivating virtue, courage, and wisdom to live a truly fulfilling life. May these lessons not just be words, but seeds planted in the fertile soil of your souls, growing towards a more conscious and harmonious existence. I invite you to embark on this journey of self-discovery and transformation, and discover, just like me, the unwavering strength that resides at the heart of Stoicism.